Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got an early impression of an Initio fragrance, and it's actually the first video from the house of Initio that I've done on my channel because I own zero from the brand, mostly because I hate the brand. And here's the thing. How can I put this? I really avoid Initio fragrances like the plague. I don't like the brand. I don't like the marketing. I don't like the fact that it's the sister house of Parfums de Marly. I don't like any of that stuff, okay? And I don't title my reviews, but if I do, this review would probably be titled The Things I Do for You, because I wore this as my scent of the day today, begrudgingly, just so I could do this video. I knew I was going to hate it because I've smelled it before. And yet I did it anyways. Why? I don't know. You know, sometimes during the middle of the day as I'm having to wear these, I'm like, what am I doing? You know, why am I forcing myself to wear this just to do a stupid YouTube video? But that's exactly what I did. And I wore this all day today as my scent of the day. We're about 9.5 hours into my day. And so I've been choking on side effect all day, basically. And I'm here to give you my thoughts. And, you know, so here's the thing that kind of makes me upset. If you saw my thumbnail video, you'll know I'm upset. And I do have some experience with Initio fragrances, though, I must say. So first of all, I have a 15 ml decan of Oudh for Greatness. I won't buy any bottles because forget that house. This is one of the worst Oudh fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. And the fact that the prices is what really pisses me off. Did you know this is $500 on Initio.com or Initio, you know, Parfums Privé, InitioParfums.com, whatever their website is. Oudh for Greatness is, I'm sorry, $410 only. Run, don't walk. Get it now before it goes to 500. I hate Oudh for Greatness. And I hate Absolute Aphrodisiac. I have some experience with the house. I have a sample of Blessed Baraka. I'll do a review of that too, just to torture myself and to put some of this stuff out there for the world to see. Because every single review that I went to, every single one, there's not a one that's bad about this fragrance almost. Let's say in the top 5. I didn't go all the way to the bottom. I didn't look at some of the ones who, you know, get hardly any views, but from the big reviewers, the ones that really matter. They all absolutely love it. They say things like, this is an extraordinary fragrance. It makes my brain tingly. It, you know, I mean, you name it, they've said good things about it. And for some reason, and I'm not sure why they go down that route. Well, I kind of have an idea, but I don't want to get into that argument today. But for me, this is a fragrance that is a rerun. It's a rerun of a fragrance, and if you go to base notes and actually just read Veneris Radari's The Scented Devil's review, he nails it. He says that it feels like a unused formula from Parfums de Marly. Spot on. I mean, if you want to end the review here, I'll just basically leave it like this. If you want to summarize it, if you just want to turn this off right now and just get the gist of it, here's the fell swoop. It's basically a cheap synthetic amberwood infected sweet bomb is basically what this fragrance is. A sweet tobacco amberwood bomb. I mean, honestly, I have this in my collection. I hate it because it's kind of the same DNA. Sweet tobacco. There's more honey here, but it's the same feeling when I wear it. Just this disgustingly sweet. It's called 1821 Sweet Man-Made Tobacco. Another tobacco fragrance that was hyped by the community. Not my kind of tobacco. Neither of these are my kind of tobaccos. Side Effect or 1821 Sweet Tobacco Spirits. I hate both of them. And I hate Oudh for Greatness. I hate Absolute Aphrodisiac. I hate Blessed Baraka. And, you know, I hate the house of Initio is basically what it comes down to. Just in case I haven't said hate enough, I hate the house of Initio. They are, to me, one of the most overrated, overhyped, cheap, synthetic trash houses I've ever smelled in my life. Like, I don't want them anywhere near my collection. I don't want them to infect the other bottles is basically what I've decided. So I have decants because I want to be able to talk about them. You know, when I see these reviewers hyping stuff, I want to be able to at least intelligently debate or have a conversation, right? That's kind of my idea. And I agree with the Scented Devil on actually multiple points of what he said. in his review. Go read it on Base Notes if you want kind of an in-depth breakdown of what he says. But he says in the opening, he senses a little similarity to Oud for Greatness. Spot on. And they probably took Side Effect and added some more of that, black oud or whatever IFF oud ingredient is out there. I used to think norlimbinol was an oud ingredient. I guess it's part of a woody amber ingredient they use with oud. And added a bunch of, they've added these woody ambers. And if you've ever smelled, for example, I did a video. Sorry, I'm going to just reach over here. I did a video on saffron. If you've ever smelled like real saffron, you'll kind of have an idea of just how overdosed some of these oud fragrances are with saffron. And yeah, there's a huge saffron hit in Oud for Greatness. And, whenever I am thinking of this smell in my head, let me just tell you kind of the fragrances that come to mind, just real quick, so we can be fair. I guess I should have had this ready, but there's actually a brand that instantly pops in my head when I smell the Initio DNA every single time. It's Lattafa. And yes, I have a bottle of this. And yes, I paid $18 for this. I think you can still get this for $18 on fragrancebuy.ca. There is literally almost no, to my way of smelling, there is almost no foreseeable reason that this is $360 at retail and this is, let's say it's $50 retail and it's discounted for $20, okay? It's the same type of fragrance to me. Actually, a better comparison, honestly, would be something like this. And Herod, if you've ever smelled Herod has this tobacco, cinnamon, there is a peppery side of this to Herod, and there's osmanthus with it as well. And actually, I will sometimes wear Herod. It came out in 2012. I think you can get bottles of this for much cheaper than you can for Side Effect. There's this DNA from the house, and if you don't know, in case you missed the opening blurb, Initio Parfums is a sister house of Parfums de Marly. So they are kind of some perfumers who've done the Parfums de Marly have also done the Initio fragrances, and you can smell it. If you smell Side Effect, it is undeniable. There are links to Herod, to my nose, okay? I smelled links to Herod. There's this pepperwood note in here along with osmanthus. And osmanthus is a note that I think is done very, very well. If you know this DNA, actually there's one other house that comes to mind. It is Nishane. If you've ever smelled Nishane Nefs, for example, or one more, just real quick, just for argument's sake here. Here's the idea of Lattafa. I'm sorry, well, Lattafa too. But here's the idea of Initio. I can't even keep the name straight. Here's the idea of Initio. Like when I think about Initio, imagine you take the absolute worst, okay? The worst parts of Spirit of Dubai, and the worst parts of something like Nishane. Imagine you take the worst parts of all of those and blend it into a fragrance, and bam, you get Side Effects. And I've gone through this was half full. You can see I've sprayed the shit out of this. I've worn it to bed multiple times, pain and suffering for you guys. And I've put a pretty damn good dent into this decant. This was also probably about half full, not all the way. But yes, it is, let me read you the blurb. Let's read the famous Initio blurb. $360 for 90 mil. They can't even give you a full 100 mil. The tobacco, vanilla, rum, and cinnamon harmony of this fragrance is spellbinding. It tantalizes the most discerning senses by playing off each of its facets, leather, animal, and the woody note of vanilla. One by one, recklessly bold and stirring, deeply buried emotions and passions take over. The fragrance lifts the veil on the unsayable. The passionate perfume has the power to plunge its wearer into that altered state where nothing is too daring because there are no risks left. Right. So, um, so I just personally think it's just outrageous. $360 for 90 mils of something like this. It is extremely sweet. And the thing about me is I don't like sweet fragrances, but this opens up like a blast of sweet. I mean, just like uh, beast mode, unbelievable sweetness. I'd rather just wear Yolp Homme. Honestly, I have vintage bottles of Yolp Homme. I enjoy that more. It gives you a similar type of sweetness to the way that Initio does their sweetness, but I like Yolp Homme more. And, you know, if it's funny because if you listen to some of the reviewers, like, for example, if you listen to, go watch Ash's review from Gent Sense, they're not long reviews. They're 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever they are. And he says, oh, the first couple times I wore it, it made me want to vomit. And yeah, there's absolutely some of that going on. However, he says after a couple wears, it was just the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes that bothers him, and then he's good. For me, it's literally the first 3 or 4 hours. I mean, I think the fragrance... So I've got a 7-hour dry down here, and I've got about an hour spray here, fresher spray. And I can tell you that as it continues to dry down, there is a point in time where it crosses the Rubicon. And finally, I mean, that 3 to 4 hours in, that sweet, cinnamony, tobacco-y, you know, amber woody thing starts to turn into this leathery, you know, the sweetness finally gives way. And it's a relentless sweetness, by the way. It doesn't give way for the first 3 or 4 hours. I'll put it that way. The notes are cinnamon bark, rum, tobacco, saffron, vanilla, sandalwood, and hedione. And if you read some of the old blurbs from, Initio for side effect, they say things like, you know, that they use this hedione to, let's see if I can find it. I was going to see if Fragrantica still had it. No, they don't have it anymore. But I heard some reviewers saying that they really amped up the hedione because hedione really attracts, you know, and it's a way to attract people to you. And that was true all the way back to something like, I mean, they were doing stuff like that in Dior Sauvage, Eau Sauvage. This is known, Dior's Eau Sauvage from 1966 is known for having a huge hedione note, and it's supposed to have this jasmine, white floral type feel, magnolia-like vibe, if you will. And yeah, I mean, that was, I think Steve McQueen or someone said that, that it was Eau Sauvage and the hedione why he got all the chicks back in the day. It's not anything new, and it's been, I think it's pretty much been, so there are studies that say hedione does actually attract, but then they try to treat it almost like a pheromone, you know? That whole pheromone craze doesn't work either. That's not true. You can't just buy pheromones that make women or whoever you want attracted to you, right? It doesn't work that way. So based on the scent itself, if you just are all about projecting this tasteless woody amberness into the universe for everyone to smell, you wear this, I think everyone in the entire building will smell you. Maybe people outside of the building will smell you. You know, and it's just the whole thing, the marketing, the brand, the smell. I heard reviewers say it's dreamy, it's gorgeous, it's sensual, it's provocative. There is unfortunately one thing I will agree on when it comes to this fragrance. I will agree with this, that I think that this is the best Initio can do. Honestly, like, I think this is it. This is the peak. And it's unfortunate that this is their best fragrance. I think if you forced me to wear an Initio, I think everything else they've done is actually worse than this. And if you know my taste, you know I don't like sweet fragrances, but there are some rule breakers, and the rule breakers for me are usually tobacco and liquor, and this has both rum and tobacco. And it just, if it didn't have, if just the sweetness was even, forget about being elegantly dosed, even if it was dosed with somewhat respectability, you know, this is, I see these type of fragrances as juvenile, maybe even somewhat trashy. Just that sweetness, the way that it projects, gives off a very a juvenile feel. There's no other way for me to say it. It smells inexperienced, okay, is what it smells like to me. It smells juvenile and it smells inexperienced. It smells like, you know how new money has to scream? You know what I mean? Old money doesn't have to scream. Old money sits back and laughs at new money trying to show off and stunt and flex and all that stuff. They don't have to, right? They've got their trust funds set up. There's no reason for the old money to show off. They don't care what you think, you know. New money is the one that always tries to show off, right? And that's what this feels like. This feels like an unpolished, you know, shriek. Just like a shriek into the universe for people to pay attention to me is what it feels like. And I despise it. I absolutely despise this. If I was going to buy this style, I think I'd buy Spirit of Dubai. Honestly, if you're going to force me to buy this style, I would probably just buy some of these Spirit of Dubai fragrances. I think they're better done. I would even buy Nishane Nefs. I think Nefs was a better version of this. And then to top it all off, you know, there's people saying that, well, I've smelled this in the Middle East, and there's this Middle East smell that you can just tell it has this high-class exclusivity. You smell it all over the Middle East. That doesn't make it exclusive. If you smell it all over the Middle East, I promise you that if the average person is walking around in those overpriced luxury house malls in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all those places, they have more money than they do sense or class. They may have a lot of money, but it doesn't mean they have a lot of class. I promise you, the people wearing the high-end oud oils, you're not smelling all over the Middle East, okay? You're not. You're smelling stuff like this. You're smelling Side Effect all over the Middle East. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, one bit. It is, it's just, you know, it's this brand actually, and this is actually a perfect color for Side Effect, by the way. This is like the color of the bottle. This brand is like everything I hate about modern perfume. Everything I hate about modern perfume is in this brand. The marketing, the price, the, you know, the strength of the fragrances, the, you know, this is, if this is fairly priced, this is competing with stuff like this. This is a Lattafa competition. To me, this is a Lattafa competition. There is no way in hell, even at discounters. And you could say, yeah, but Ramsey, no one's going to pay retail. And they shouldn't. They absolutely shouldn't. But even at, let's say, 50% markdown at discounters, right? And you pay $160, $180 a bottle. Still way too much. You know, this is maybe more fairly priced around $50 a bottle. And even that's probably pushing it. To me, especially since I already have this. And since I already have this, you know, there's just absolutely no way on God's green earth I would ever buy an Initio fragrance, ever. Ever. And the only reason I'm doing this video is for you guys. So, the title of the video is, again, The Things You Make Me Do. If I titled my videos, that would be the title, because I'm really just doing it so my thoughts are out there on this fragrance. If I've saved even one person from having to buy this, you know, if I've saved one newcomer, because you could say, oh, well, all the videos on this were from the fragrance reviewers were put up in 2016 and when the free bottles went out, and then 2017 and 18 and 19, no one's doing videos on Side Effect anymore. Yeah, but there are people discovering this house every day, and they're going and watching those older videos where they're saying that this is gorgeous and dreamy and provocative, and it's such high class. It's none of those things. I'm telling you, zero of those things. To me, you know, I despise the brand of Initio personally. I would never buy any of their fragrances ever. I still am going to do videos on Oud for Greatness and Absolute Aphrodisiac, which is literally one of the worst things I've ever smelled. And Blessed Baraka, which is far from blessed in my opinion. And so, yes, just because I feel like it's important for there to be some sort of balance in the force. I mean, there's very little out there. There's very little balance competing with the free bottle brigade. I'm still very curious as to what some of those people really think. You know what I mean? Like, I know the free bottles come in from the niche houses, and you know, they all rush to put their videos out on the same day. But still, I would love for someone to just do like an update video. Like, hey, I've had this free bottle for 5 years now, and I don't really care what Initio thinks anymore. So here's my real thoughts. None of them do that. None of them. Zero. There's no updates from those people. And so, you know, whatever. It's just, if this is your thing and you love it, wear it. Okay? Wear what you love. Don't listen to me. But if you're on the fence about this, I'm telling you, there's way better options that you can buy for much cheaper than something like Side Effect. Don't let the hype inspire you here, or influence you here, is my 2 cents on it. So, yes, that's my thoughts on Side Effect. If you've tried Side Effect, or if you have tried any of the Initio fragrances, do let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. You'll probably see some more Initio videos on the channel. Pains me to say, but you will. And so, yes, thanks to the 2 people that actually sent me a sample, DL Quelia and one of my other Perfume God people. Thank you to everyone who sent me a sample. And there's going to be a lot more sampling and discussing of new fragrances to come, because I have a ton of samples. I probably could do nothing but early impression videos. And to be fair, I don't have a bottle of this, like I said, so this is just an early impression. You know, it's from wearing it. Today's the first time I've worn it as my scent of the day. So yes, it's probably, it's March here in Texas, so most people would probably say it's more of a November, December, January, February type of fragrance. And it is. It's probably more of a cold weather fragrance with that gourmand, boozy, tobacco, cinnamon sweetness thing going on. But still, I mean, the price is just absolutely outrageous. So, thanks to everyone for watching. Cheers, guys, and I hope to see you in the comments. Take care. Bye-bye.